So can you just give us your perspective on the dynamics that we're seeing play out in the downstream sector? Of course, as a practitioner in that space, you will understand the challenge with trying to remove the subsidies and what that means for the government in terms of the cost, that huge subsidy bill, and then, of course, the growth of the sector in general. So it's great to see that Dangote is making this huge investment, which hopefully will reduce the pressure on the government to pay so much to import petrol and, of course, to subsidize it. But how do you see things evolving in the sector, and what are your thoughts on the state of the sector today?
First and foremost, the biggest challenge we have in the sector today is refining capacity. Nigeria installed refining capacity is about 445,000 barrels per day, spread over the 3 refineries we have, the one in Port Harcourt, the one in Warri, and the one in Kaduna. And then besides that, these refineries at best are operating at below 15% capacity. So today, we import more than 90% of our refined petroleum product needs in the country. Thankfully, Dangote is currently building a 650,000 barrels per day, which hopefully should come on stream maybe by 2022. Hopefully when this come on stream, and if NNPC is able to turn around our own refineries, regardless of the fact that they are very old. The youngest of them is the Port Harcourt refinery, which was commissioned in 1981. So, I mean, these refineries are actually very old. But if NNPC is able to turn them around, between the NNPC refineries and the Dangote refinery, we should be able to get about 1.1 million barrels per day refining
Which should be
capacity.
enough. But
well,
the question is that,
the
demand dynamics
the
are
demand
changing.
keeps growing. Our population is growing at about 3% every year. Nigeria is projected to hit a population of about 400 million people by 2050. So I am not too optimistic that if Dangote refinery comes on stream, that it will be able to meet the demand for the country. But at least it's a very positive step in the right direction. At least it should solve more than 80% of our need. Although the challenge is also there whether the Dangote refinery entire production is meant for local consumption. Because don't forget that this refinery is being built in an export free trade zone. Dangote is going to buy crude at international market prices. So if things remain as it is, say government doesn't deregulate, the Dangote fuel, whether it's going to come 100% into the country, I mean, the jury is still out on that. But let's see how that plays out. But the key thing is that that investment is an investment in the right direction and is a timely investment for the country.
What I'm hearing now is that the landing cost for petrol is now at 180 per liter, which is way above the regulated price of 145. Clearly, that means that the subsidy bill continues to expand, and you made a good point about how demand continues to increase. Now, what does all that mean for the sector in your view? Because we've gone past maybe about 3 years ago when there was pretty much a crisis and the local players were not getting involved in importing. The NNPC now is more or less the sole importer. That burden is certainly very significant right now. But is it sustainable?
Well, Nigeria has always run a subsidy regime, in which case government fixes the price, and then regardless of the cost of bringing in petroleum products into this country, government fixes the price and then pays the difference as subsidy. But in 2016, the President Buhari's administration removed subsidy but without deregulating. So what it means is that government said the price of petrol is going to be 145 naira per liter. Marketers, if you can import and sell at 145 and make money, go ahead and import. If you cannot import and sell at 145 and make money, then leave it. So what has happened is that by that 2016, when this happened, it was actually at 145 then, the cost of bringing in petroleum products into this country was under 145. So everybody was importing, selling at 145, and there was, the system was happy. But not long afterwards, prices moved, such that today, nobody can import petroleum products and sell at 145. So today, NNPC has stepped into that space. NNPC, on behalf of the federal government, is bringing in 100% of the fuel we are consuming in this country. Today, crude is trading at about $70 a barrel. Plat is close to $700 per metric ton. So the cost of bringing in petrol into Nigeria today is about 180 naira per liter. So as of today, there's a subsidy element, although the new terminology now is under recovery.
Yes, but is it sustainable? That's my question to you.
Well, whether it is sustainable, that's for government to decide. I have my concerns. In 2018, government spent about 700 billion naira subsidizing one product called petrol. Our annual budget for 2018 was about 9.2 trillion naira. Now, we spent close to 8% of our annual budget subsidizing one product called petrol. Now, is that sustainable? It's up to government to decide. In 2019, our budget is 8.9 trillion naira. The budget for subsidy is about 305 billion naira, which is $1 billion. Now, should we be spending $1 billion subsidizing one product? It's tough, especially when you look at the budget for education is about 47 billion naira. The budget for health is about 50 billion naira. So subsidy alone is consuming far more money than education and health put together.
So it's clearly impacting development in the country. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I think the point is noted. Gabriel Ogbechie is the founder and group managing director of Rainoil.